Hey y'all, I am filming in my daughter's room if you are curious, but as you can tell by the title, this video is going to be all about dump and go crockpot dinners, extreme budget edition. So the reason I wanted to do dump and goes this week, after Christmas, it always takes me a good while to get my house back in order, so I was looking for really easy dinner ideas that I didn't have to stand over while I focused on this house. As for the budget part, I'm just so tired of spending so much money on food. I used to be pretty good about budgeting and like shopping the good deals, using my coupons, and in 2020, that all kind of went out the window. I was honestly pretty careless about how much I was spending, so as one of my New Year's resolutions, I'm wanting to do better about that, and I figured with the holidays ending, now would be a good time to put out some cheap meal ideas so that we can kind of all get back on track. Hopefully you can get an idea or two here. But yeah, so all the meals that I made were under $6. I did want to include that I did use ingredients that I had on hand for some of the meals, so I'm not going to include those in the total. This was more of like a 6 and under challenge for myself. So yeah, I just hope that this video can encourage you to be more mindful of how much you're spending. Be sure to try and use up what you have on hand, and just to show that you do not have to spend a fortune to have a good meal to put on the table. So I think I'm done rambling now. I'm going to go ahead and jump on into the food.
Okay, so let's take a little peek inside my pantry. I'm going to grab the 2 cans of Rotel. I actually got those for free a couple months back. I had a coupon. If you bought a block of Velveeta cheese, you get those for free. I'm also going to grab the can of chili beans and then 2 cans of tomato sauce. And I do remember I got those on sale for either 49 cents or 50 cents at Kroger's back when they had those on sale. So going off these ingredients, what do you think I'm making? A classic chicken taco soup. So I got 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that save a lot for $3.41. That is plenty to feed my family of 4. You'll also need a package of taco seasoning as well as a can of chicken broth and then some light red kidney beans that I will drain and rinse. So all I had to go out and spend on this meal was a total of $4.93. As for the toppings that I'm going to add, these are things that I always have on hand, so I didn't have to go out and buy these things for this meal. But I added some shredded cheese. If you're wondering why I had it in a measuring cup, I am trying to count my calories right now. I also added some sour cream that came out a little wonky, but still tastes the same. And then some of those little tortilla strips for some crunch. This meal is so incredibly easy. It's 0 effort. I feel like even a child could throw this together. It's so tasty. I don't know that I've made this exact recipe before, but I've made plenty things very similar to it in the past, and it's just always a winner in our house. It's very filling, and it makes for great leftovers. Up next is this sausage and tortellini soup that I feel like is a pretty popular recipe that's been floating around for a while now. So I did have to buy the frozen cheese tortellini. Instead of buying chicken broth, I decided to save and just use some water and some of this better than bouillon chicken paste that I've had in my fridge forever. The recipe did call for Italian sausage, but we're not huge fans of that, so I just used some leftover breakfast sausage. You'll need a block of cream cheese, 2 cans of Italian style petite diced tomatoes, and then I used a half a bag of that fresh spinach, which is why I said 77 cents worth. After that time was up, I removed my lid and I got in there and tried to break up that cream cheese. I did end up switching to a whisk, and that made it a whole lot quicker and made it blend into the sauce a lot better. Then I'm going to add in that whole bag of frozen cheese tortellini, followed by that fresh spinach. I do wish that I took the time to finally chop up that spinach, because Josh and the kids basically picked out all of the spinach in their soup, but they don't really like spinach and they don't really like when I add it into their food. I, on the other hand, love it. I did have a hard time getting that spinach down into the broth. I just gave up and said forget it. But I did let that cook for an additional 30 minutes to get that tortellini cooked. And for some reason, that spinach was having like a hard time wilting. Maybe it needed to go a little longer. I don't know. But I turned the crock pot off, and over time it did end up wilting down. But here is what it looks like. This made a ton. I feel like with just soups in general, it always makes more than what you're expecting. But here is my bowl. I just topped it with some pepper. It was really yummy. The only thing that I didn't care for was the sausage. I'm not a sausage person anyway, so I just wish I left it out. But everyone else seemed to enjoy it, so there's that. But I love the flavor of that broth and those Italian diced tomatoes. Super good. I have been craving some beef and broccoli, but beef prices are so insanely high right now. I went to a few different stores trying to find something on sale, and I could not find anything. So I thought to myself, what will this taste like with pork? So I found this huge thing for $7.22. I only needed half of it, so I froze the other half. So I ended up using about $3.61 worth of that pork. And then here is all of the other ingredients that you'll need. Luckily, I had about half of those already, including this cornstarch, some minced garlic, and some sesame oil. This little bottle of sesame oil will last me forever because I rarely use it. And then I have about 2 pounds of that pork in this bowl. I just sliced it up. I try to slice it thinly, but I guess I got a little lazy with it. You'll also need some beef broth. I used half of that can. I did have to buy some low sodium soy sauce. I figured it up to be about 22 cents a portion. I already had the brown sugar, and then I bought the broccoli. So this was a total of $5.08. So after that 5 hours was up, I removed that lid and I got in there with my wooden spoon and kind of broke that meat apart. I don't know why I was expecting it to stay like in little slices. It did want to like fall apart, and some of it was more like shredded. Definitely not cute, but that doesn't take away from the flavor. So I just added in a simple cornstarch slurry to let that liquid thicken, and then that frozen broccoli. And I'm just going to let that cook for an additional 30 minutes so that that broccoli can get, fully cooked. Like I said, it doesn't look the best, but it was so good. We served it over basmati rice, and I would definitely make it again. It was just something different. I ended up drizzling a ton of like hot sauce over it, and that made it even better. But yeah, I would totally recommend. Lastly, I am making this chicken enchilada casserole. I have had this recipe planned for so long, but this was my first time trying it. So instead of using chicken breast like the recipe states, I decided to do some bone-in skin-on chicken thighs because I knew they'd be a lot cheaper. I got this huge pack for just $4.94. I only needed half of it, so I froze one half, and I just used about $2.47 worth. And I did remove that skin before throwing it in the crock pot, and that's super easy to do. It pulls off really easily. And then I got this Tillamook cheese on sale at Kroger's for $1.77, which is an insanely good deal for that brand of cheese. I already had these corn tortillas on hand from a previous recipe. I always have a hard time using up a whole pack, so I was super glad to, finish those up. And then I got a packet of enchilada sauce mix instead of like the already made in a can because it is quite a bit cheaper. All you do is mix it with water and a small can of tomato sauce, which is another thing that I always have on hand. So I was able to make this for $5.48. After adding in the tortillas and cheese, I let that finish for an additional 30 minutes, and here is what the finished product looks like. This is another one of those dishes that isn't the prettiest to look at, but oh my goodness, it was amazing. I highly recommend using the bone-in chicken thighs in place of chicken breast. It just produced this juiciest chicken ever, and it was just so perfectly cooked, and we love the flavors in this dish, and you can't beat it for 4 ingredients. So we topped it with sour cream, and after this clip, I actually found a lime in the fridge, so we squeezed some fresh lime over it, and we used some like big tortilla chips to scoop this up and eat it that way. But that is going to wrap up this video. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button, stick around. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.